RDL, what's going on? Looking at some interesting truck perspective here, how the Nordic trucks stand out from the rest of Europe. Now, as you know by now, I'm extremely fascinated by all of these European trucks as a whole, the different brands, the different styles, and learning about them as they do differ quite a bit from what I'm used to seeing here on our giant American highways. Now, this video in particular is from an excellent channel called Trucktopia. They will be linked in the description down below. Alrighty, make sure to check them out. All right, I'm subscribed to them. They're really, really good. And this was suggested to me by literally multiple, like I think 6 different people in the last couple weeks on Discord. So thank you guys for the great suggestions as always. Let's jump right into this. Let's see, even from this little screenshot here, you can see the Nordic truck seems to be a little bigger, maybe a little bit over the top, a little bit decorated. I'm intrigued. Here we go.
If you have driven through one of the Nordic countries like Denmark, Sweden, Finland, or Norway...
Wow, I always forget that Denmark is super small compared to Sweden, Norway, and even Finland. Interesting.
You may have noticed some of the unique trucks you will come across. The trucks in these countries stand out quite a bit from the rest of Europe with their unique decorations, colors, and equipment, where each haulier has a unique look on their trucks, and where trucks are rebuilt and painted beyond recognition.
I love it though. I think it's cool.
But why make so much out of a truck that might have to be replaced 5 to 7 years later? That and much more, you'll get the answer to in this video.
Awesome.
In the Nordic countries, there are a lot of small and medium-sized hauliers with 1 to 10 trucks in their fleet. Many are one-man truckers who own their own truck, or where they have 2 to 4 trucks, but also drive themselves.
Those are cool.
The hauliers spend endless hours in their trucks, and many sleep in them. It is practically both their office and home for a large part of the week. Therefore, the exterior and equipment mean a lot to this type of trucker. They want their truck to stand out, look good, and have all the equipment that can be added, such as the large 750 and 770 horsepower engines.
Those are the behemoths in the industry right now, right? The 750 rather, excuse me, horse Volvo, and of course the top dog 770 V8 from Scania, right?
Volvo and Scania can deliver.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they have to drive the truck themselves makes them willing to spend more money and to do something extra out of their truck. Wherein the big companies, there is a purchasing manager who cares more about the purchase price of the truck rather than how it looks. Trucking is a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's what it is.
In the Nordic countries, trucking is a lifestyle. And which brand do you...
Damn, that Volvo's nice too. I tell you what, they are probably the best brands. I think that's why they're talked about the most. Volvo and Scanias are just awesome. And I tend to lean more towards Scanias just because I think they're amazing and because I don't see them here, whereas I do see Volvos here in the U.S. Granted, you don't see this type of Volvo. This cab over looks sharp. Rather, you see, long-nosed Volvos that we do have here in the United States.
Drive and how many horsepower it has is of great importance.
But damn,
the trucks are rebuilt with side skirts, door panels, LED lights and lamps, chrome hangers, bull bars, hydraulic system, and much more. In addition, they paint their trucks in unique colors that represent their company and that you can easily recognize when you drive past them on the Nordic highways.
Right. Well, from a business perspective, I understand trying to get a fleet of trucks, even if they're just basic looking, you just want to get a good price. Maybe you get a good deal on a fleet, right? You order 10 of the same truck or 20, whatever, if you're a big company. And, your bottom line is you don't have to spend a lot, and now you have a bunch of new trucks to make you money. But at the same time, going a little bit overboard might not be totally conventional, but it might have a payoff, right? You have this new sense of pride in your trucks and the company. You have your logo and these cool maybe signature colors or designs that are associated with them, and people start to recognize, and then you get some brand recognition, and that could be a positive thing as well.
The truck brands Volvo and Scania are dominating here and have a huge market share. It also has something to do with the fact that they are both produced in Sweden, of course.
That's true.
But also because they offer some unique features that are adapted to the Nordic market. such as tandem lift, single-mounted boogie lift, 4-axle chassis on full air suspension, the largest engines, and many other factory options which make them incredibly versatile for the many different tasks trucks perform in the Nordic countries. There are also lots of truck shows in Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Denmark, where hundreds of truckers come to show off their trucks and where prizes are awarded to the best-looking and most unique.
That's freaking awesome.
They're unique truck rules.
Yeah, I was going to say, I figured this would play into it. I know the EU is kind of a broad statement, right? Europe has a lot of different places, different countries, different regions. I imagine the rules, especially way up here in the Nordic countries, they might have different rules, maybe more relaxed rules. Everywhere differs. That's why it's kind of unique to learn about.
The rules in the Nordic countries are very different. There are different rules for weight, width, and lengths depending on the total number of axles on the truck and trailer semi-trailer.
I'm going to guess they allow bigger and heavier hauls because that's what I've seen.
In general, the rules in most countries in the EU are a total length of 18.75 meters and 40 or 44 tons. But in the Nordic, other special rules apply.
Oh, wow.
As you can
wow, look at Sweden allows some monster trucks. They allow the widest. They also allow the most length, even at 24 meters. They also allow a lot of height and the most weight. Actually, Finland over here allows the most weight. So, but they're all up there, I think. And I'm sure that these are all a little more than most of the EU.
See, in Sweden, 64 tons and 24 meters is allowed, but 74 tons and 25 on some roads. And in Finland, 76 tons is allowed.
Wow.
They are also doing test routes in Finland with up to 94 tons total gross weight and up to 31.5 meters in length.
Oh my God. That'd be a
They therefore have considerably longer and heavier vehicles than the rest of Europe, which is why these large engines with over 700 horsepower are also chosen, as it takes a lot of effort to pull so many tons. Not only do they drive with higher weights, but both Finland and Sweden have very varied landscapes, with steep climbs in the terrain compared to the rest of Europe.
I was going to say, it takes a lot of skill. I'd say maybe even a little bravery and courage to be a trucker up in a lot of the Nordic regions because you have crazy weather at times, right? Can it get really cold? It can get really snowy. Combine that with mountainous terrain. There's definitely some mountains going on. There's some hills. I imagine it's quite a varied landscape. And of course, with big trucks and big hauls, big loads, it's a crazy industry, that's for sure. Can I also say it's kind of like, for my perspective, I guess it's you have a little more of the decorated trucks. You have some chrome, some crazy colors, all these big LED lights. It's a little bit like custom trucks here in the U.S., I would argue. Of course, you have your standard issue fleet trucks in the U.S., and you could tell when companies just want to get a bunch of trucks, and they're cheap, and they're probably base models, and they're plain. They're just plain white. They're not dressed up, and you know that truck is just for work, right? But then, of course, some guys or some companies go all out, and they have all these crazy colors, you know, the chrome, the lights, all that deal. And so I'm getting that vibe that's more common again in the Nordic countries, as he is explaining. But of course, the funny part is, from what I've learned, if you took like a big, long-nosed Peterbilt custom American truck, and then, of course, these custom Scanias and Volvos, the funny part is these are actually more powerful than the American counterpart would be, if I remember right. So that's pretty crazy.
How the Nordic trucks are specified. Because there are such unique rules in these countries, you also see some special trucks that are adapted to the rules that are allowed. You therefore see quite a lot of 3- and 4-axle trucks with both rotatable and liftable trailing axles, which make it possible to shift the weight of the cargo to the pulling axles if snow or ice makes the road grip slippery.
Gotcha.
Over 70% of trucks in the Nordic countries are Scania or Volvos, typically with between 600 and 770 horsepower.
Damn.
There are also a lot of special-built trucks equipped with cranes, hook lift, and other specially adapted trucks. Lack of truck drivers. In Europe, up to 425,000 truck driver positions remain unfilled in 2021, and is expected to reach up to 600,000 in 2022.
Oh my goodness.
This increases the demand for good and stable truck drivers. Therefore, there are many of the Nordic hauliers who really make something out of their trucks and equip them with all the extra equipment you can choose and the biggest engines in order to attract the best and most skilled drivers.
I'm not sure, I can check later, but I'm pretty sure I've heard multiple times that we do have a pretty significant truck driver shortage here in the U.S. as well. It's crazy. I don't know what the story is there.
When the truck driver has to choose where they want to work, things like salary, working conditions, meeting times, etc. naturally come into play.
Right.
But which truck they're going to drive, what equipment and engine it has, and how it looks are also of great importance to many, since a truck driver spends an incredible number of hours in the truck. You therefore have the opportunity to attract some of the best drivers if you make a little more out of your trucks and choose a lot of extra equipment in these countries.
That truck is amazing inside. Look at this like quilted leather, is that or something? The illuminated V8 badge is just boss mode. That is amazing. I love the little ambient lights. It looks so clean inside, almost too clean. I'd be afraid to eat lunch in there.
Or out of your trucks.
Oh man, that is so nice.
A lot of extra equipment in these countries.
Damn, these trucks are a work of art. I am very impressed by that. I literally can't get enough of these custom trucks.
The trucks in the Nordic countries are some of the most unique and modified trucks you will come across.
Yeah.
We hope you learned something new about the trucks in the Nordic.
I applaud that. What I learned, yes, a lot of custom trucks. I think it's cool, right? I get that not every truck on the road has to be customized and all that, but I also understand why some of them do it. I think it's really, really cool. I think it's good to have pride in a vehicle that does so much work and that, quite frankly, you're going to spend most of your time in for a while, right? Might as well make it a place that feels homey, that feels somewhere you like to be, not some bland, miserable place that you're going to be stuck in for a long time, and you don't want to be miserable in there. So I can appreciate these works of art, and I'm sure they're very proud of them, as they should be. We also learned that they're bigger. They are, as I kind of predicted from what I've seen in past videos. Yes, these trucks up in Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark, they're just bigger. They haul bigger loads. They pull more weight. They have, top dog engines, and very interesting, although not really surprising, that Volvo and Scania dominate the market up there, as it should. That is their home, domestic brand or brands. And it just, quite frankly, looks like a really cool trucking culture in there. About the trucking shortage, it's interesting. How do you think, if you can comment on how that is still relevant? Is it still a thing? And what do you think can be done to get more people into trucking? Like I said, it seems like an awesome job. Certain aspects of it are really cool. It'd be fun to drive a big, powerful piece of art like this. I don't think anyone's arguing that. But of course, not going to sugarcoat it. It's also a job that can be very tough. It just really depends on a lot of different factors and conditions. So it can be a really tough job. It could be miserable if you were in the wrong scenario, I suppose. But it also could be a really well-paying, great job. So it just really depends. What are some of your thoughts on that? I'd love to hear them. Anyway, guys, keep up the great suggestions. Make sure to use that link down there and check out Trucktropia. Excellent stuff from them. And throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.